cocoa powder. So cocoa powder is actually a byproduct of cocoa butter extraction. And again, just one of those things that you learn while you're doing it.
That is
but cocoa butter was the main
amazing.
focus, and then the powder was
You know,
essentially the byproduct.
It's like there's a universe in this little bean.
And that's why a lot of things include cocoa powder. Because
Yeah.
you wouldn't have anywhere else to go with it. And all you're doing is removing the fat. So like when you make a brownie recipe, you take the cocoa powder and you mix in a bunch, of butter and milk and things like that. You're just adding the fat back into it.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
cocoa powder is essentially just the cocoa solid. That's where you're getting the flavor. And that's the other misnomer is people think that white chocolate isn't chocolate.
Aha.
The bean itself is 50% fat. White chocolate is chocolate because it's just cocoa butter, but it has other emulsifiers and different flavorings added to it. So it's not ever really going to be super healthy because it's just fat.
Right.
But it is. It's
That's
actually
why
chocolate.
it has that consistency.
Exactly.
There's a definite
it's just
different.
fat. Yep.
Okay, well now we know that. I'm going to steer clear of that. But that's an interesting little thing, to note there. And again, like this is so amazing. You've everything from cocktails. You could do a whole meal serving.
Absolutely.
chocolate.
If you go to Latin American countries,
Mm-hmm.
they do different kinds of moles, and they include chocolate
Yes,
into a lot of
I
things.
love that. Like
Right,
the
but
mole,
there's so many
mole
ways.
sauce.
We're doing a James Beard dinner in New York for Valentine's Day. So we got
Congratulations.
asked to do the Valentine's Day, obviously because we're chocolate. But we had to write a whole tasting menu that incorporates all of these little nuances, whether it be in the bread service or in the appetizers, the hors d'oeuvres, the actual entree courses, the dessert courses. We're making a couple different biscottis for a cheese course. So it's going to be a coconut biscotti or things like that.
Boy, the
So-
sky's the limit. And you obviously have a
100%.
great imagination when
Well,
it comes
you have
to
to because
being
you
creative
can't just
with food.
cover everything in chocolate. You know what I mean? Like you really have to figure out how to utilize it in different ways. Like I said, even the fat. We get the cocoa butter in and we use it to cook things and make hollandaise. Like you're just replacing butter
you
with
imagine?
cocoa butter.
Oh, that is so, and that brings to mind too. Isn't cocoa butter like in hand lotions and stuff?
Absolutely,
and
cocoa
body
butter's
and-
everywhere.
It's
One of
good
the
for
things I'm trying to
scarring
do.
too, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when we crack and winnow the beans, we're trying to find uses for the byproducts like the shells and things like that. So we're trying to incorporate them into different facial scrubs and hand scrubs and different cosmetics because they're not medicinal in a sense, but it's just a good way to utilize those products because it still brings that flavor and that essence of chocolate to it. And again, it kind of makes it fun.
Boy, this is all around. Like I said, there's a whole universe in this little nut, and you can go visit Chef Matt at HEXX, and he'll probably take you through the kitchen, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
And
We're there 7 days a week.
7
and,
days a week.
The
It's
tour
amazing.
goes almost all day long.
Yeah, and again, that is HEXX at the Paris, and they also have a great view, don't you guys? Oh, New Year's Eve, can you imagine? You have the fountains right across the
Absolutely.
street.
Again, we have one of the best patios. We have the best patio on the strip.
Yes, Mon Ami Gabi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Almost center on the Bellagio fountains. And it's just the best people watching at night. With Bellagio fountains, it's one of the best dining experiences you can have in Vegas.
Absolutely. And then again, there's the Las Vegas Hottest Chef is going to be there. So I hate to say this whole hour just went so fast. I want to thank all my guests, Edwin and Brenda, and she had her own song that she composed just for the show, and of course Chef Matt Pekarsky, and I'm going to go visit him, so y'all better go visit him too. Yeah, they're going to go too. Yes. And again, thank you for staying tuned in, and have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, that's So Vegas here at WCOBM.com. Merry Christmas.